everyone, and you're welcome to my channel this morning. Today I'm going to be talking about the power of the imaginative faculty of man. Now, in my opinion, the imaginative faculty, our imagination, is a gift given to us to be able to achieve our dreams and our desires in this life. And to buttress my points, I'm going to be reading some paragraphs from a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, I'm sure many of us have read this book. Many of us have. We probably have this book at home and we've read it before. But let me just say the points in this book bears repeating, because this is a book that you can pick at any stage, no matter what stage of life you're in, and learn and be able to change your life from the principles that are in this book. If you read it and you apply these principles, you're sure to achieve success. So if you want to change your life, or you want to change something about your life, this book is very, very good, So I'm going to be reading from chapter 6. The title is Imagination, the Workshop of the Mind. The imagination is literally the workshop wherein are fashioned all plans created by people. The impulse, the desire is given hope, form, and action through the aid of the imaginative faculty of the mind. It has been said that we can create anything we can imagine. Of all the ages of civilization, this is the most favorable for the development of the imagination because it is an age of rapid change. Everywhere we come into contact with stimuli that develop the imagination. Through the age of the imaginative faculty, mankind has discovered and harnessed more of nature's forces during the past 50 years than during the entire history of the human race previous to that time. We have conquered the air so completely that the birds are a poor match for us in flying. We have harnessed the ether and made it serve as a means of instantaneous communication with any part of the world. We have analyzed and weighed the sun at a distance of millions of miles and have determined through the aid of imagination the elements of which it contains. We have discovered that our own brain is both a broadcasting and a receiving station for the vibration of thought. And we are beginning now to learn how to make practical use of this discovery. We have increased the speed of locomotion until we may now travel at a speed of more than 600 miles an hour. Now it says, our only limitation within reason lies in the development and use of our imagination. We have not yet reached the apex of development in the use of our imaginative faculty. We have merely discovered that we have an imagination and have commenced to use it in a very, very elementary way. See, now it says that this book simply says, this passage I just read, simply says that states how important the imaginative faculty of man is. Everything that has ever been created, everything that has ever been invented happened because somebody imagined it. Everything happens first from the imagination of one man. It wasn't when electricity came to be, when man discovered electricity, that electricity started to be. No, electricity has always been. It had been from the foundation of the world. But until it was discovered, it was useless. We couldn't use it. But then somebody discovered electricity. And now we can just push a button on the wall and the lights come on. That's the power of imagination. You see, so it is really important for us to understand how important the imaginative faculty of man is. We can achieve anything. It has been said that if you can see it here, then you can hold it here. And that statement is very, very true. Again, I'm going to read some paragraphs from another book by Joseph Murphy. This book is Riches Are Your Rights by Joseph Murphy. It's a very good book. I think you want to get it and read it. Now it says, imagination is the mighty instrument used by great scientists, artists, physicists, inventors, architects, and mystics. When the world said it can't be done, it is impossible, the man with imagination said, it is done. Through your imagination, you can penetrate the depth of reality and reveal the secrets of nature. And then another paragraph says, through your faculty to imagine the end result, you have control over any circumstance or condition. If you wish to bring about the realization of any wish, desire, or idea, form a mental picture of fulfillment in your mind. Constantly imagine the reality of your desire. In this way, you will actually compel it into being. What you imagine as true already subsists in the next dimension of mind. And if you remain faithful to your ideal, it will one day objectify itself. The master architect within you will project on the screen of visibility what you impress on your mind. You see, if we can understand this, it's really going to be phenomenal. Our lives are literally going to change. Because it's important to understand this truth about the use of the imagination. The result that you get in your life actually depends on how much use you put your imagination to. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Let me say that again. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. You should write that down. Seriously, because we're always thinking about something. The mind is never empty. You're always imagining something. Now, you may be imagining maybe what happened yesterday, or what happened this morning, or what you're going to do later today, but you're always imagining something, whether you're aware of it or not. Now, for you to put your imagination to work, it has to be a deliberate thing. You have to deliberately choose what you think about, what you imagine on a daily basis. If you have a desire, you want to constantly think about that desire for it to be fulfilled. You want to keep that in your mind because it is important. If you have a goal or a desire and you don't think about it, it is hard for you to be able to achieve it because your thoughts, what you constantly think about, always objectify itself. Now, if you're constantly thinking about your worries or how things are bad, without you knowing it, you're going to keep reproducing the same thing. And that's why people stay the same way. That's why we keep reproducing the same thing every time. Because we're always thinking about what our physical senses can see. What we can see, smell, hear, touch, and feel. But when we want to change something, we have to take our attention away from what we can see and put in our minds what we really want and begin to imagine that. The physical senses may deny that, but it doesn't matter what you see. It doesn't matter what your physical senses are telling you. What matters is that you know what you want and that you're keeping that on your mind constantly. And one day, you will see it physically. That's the way it works. That's the way life works. So it is important, if you can just understand this one thing, everything is going to change. Things are going to change. It is important to understand and to put to use your imagination. Now, they say that if you want to learn to do something, you actually have to do that thing. If you want to learn to drive, what do? You actually have to drive. If you want to learn to cook, you have to actually cook. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. That's the way it works. So it also applies to the use of your imagination. If you want to get better, get to the point where you can imagine something and then in a very short time, you see it physically. You have to put your imagination to use. You have to put it to work. It's not going to be easy. It takes discipline. It takes a deliberate effort, but it can be done. So you have to put it to work, to use, and then you begin to use it. As you begin to use it, the more you do it, the better it is and the easier it gets for you. At first, especially if you don't understand this principle, it may be hard. But faith comes by hearing. If you continue to listen, continue to hear, read books about this topic, you continue to understand it little by little. That's how it happened to me. At first, when I first came across this thing, I didn't understand it. But there was just something in me that kept yearning for knowledge. I kept wanting things to change. And then I kept listening. I read a lot of books. I listened to a lot of audio about this topic. And then gradually I started to understand it. I got an in-depth knowledge of this truth, this principle. And I began to put it to use in my life. And gradually things started changing. I'm far from where I was, I've moved. And that's the way it is, step by step, slowly but surely, you are going to keep moving forward in your life and in whatever you want. And this principle doesn't only apply to individuals, it also applies to nations. The only difference is in number. So if we want to change something in our life, personal life, we can put this principle to use. You have a desire. First, you have to believe that anything is possible, even for you. And then you have to decide what you want. And then just keep that in your mind. Decide that you're going to get it. And keep it in your mind. Imagine the end result. That's the secret. Imagine the end result in your mind. Imagine yourself having achieved what you want to achieve. Imagine yourself having gotten that thing. And then feel the feeling. Feel what you're going to feel if you have actually, or when you have actually achieved your goal. And then as you keep that feeling, as you keep imagining the end result in your mind, because our life, our physical life is tied to we actually live from within. So everything we see on the physical is only a projection of what is on the inside. So if we can see it inside, then we can see it outside. Everything we are seeing outside is a result of what we are seeing inside, what is on the inside. So if we change what you see inside, then what we see outside will change in time. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's going to happen because that is a principle. Principles don't fail. It always works if you apply it properly. And that's the way it is. Our thoughts, our life, the quality of our life is tied to the quality of our thoughts. So you want to change your thoughts to be able to change your life. That's the way it works. Listen to this over and over again. Get other books that talk about this thing. Understand this principle. And then you can begin to apply it and change your life. Like I said, it also applies to nations. So we can also apply it to any situation. We can apply it to the situation of this country, Nigeria. When we begin to imagine the good things that we want to see happen in Nigeria and take our focus off of the bad ones, when we begin to imagine the desired results, we begin to imagine how it feels when things are just the way we want them to be in Nigeria. If many of us do it, if enough of us do it, then we can actually begin to see results little by little. We will see results. We will see things begin to change. So many things are happening, and of course we need to be careful. We need to watch what we do every time. At the same time, we don't want to focus so much on the bad things. We want to think about the good things, put the good things in our minds, individually, in our individual lives, and then collectively as a nation, as a people. We want to do this so that we can see good results in our life. So as we step out, as we go about our daily activities, let's keep this in mind, that the quality of our life depends on the quality of our thoughts.